Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, you can. All right, three games I want to talk about. Obviously, everyone wants me to talk about the Lakers Nuggets game. I think I'm going to skip out on that for tonight because I don't know. Nuggets did not play great. Obviously, we have the Suns and Bulls. We're going to talk Nets, Sixers. We're going to talk Jazz, Rockets. The Hornets got beat by a fucking 53, which is insane. Largest blowout victory in their team history for the Blazers. But let's get into it. Suns and Bulls, man. I really respect the Bulls. Like, obviously, they're not the greatest team. They're not out there being contenders. They compete, though. They fight against some pretty. I mean, I would say the Suns are kind of like a bad team, but like, you know. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal helped the Suns beat the Bulls to snap a 4-game losing streak. Those three played at a very high level. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, kind of doing what was kind of expected out of them going into Phoenix. Now, obviously, we haven't gotten that often. You know, there's a lot of factors with that, like injuries and whatnot. But, I mean, even Devin Booker facilitating and playing really well as a point guard. We've seen him kind of take over that role over the last couple of years. But, yeah, Bradley Beal in the starting lineup for the first time in a lot of games. You know, they've kind of tested him out, brought him off the bench, and then they realized, you know, let's start this guy. End a 4-game losing streak. They win by 4. Just ridiculous shots from guys like Devin Booker and obviously Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant. Very crafty basketball players. Really fun game here, though. Mason Plumlee was even being aggressive at the big man position, getting to the rim. This was a good game for the Suns. Really good game. I mean, 27 points, 10 rebounds for Kevin Durant, who shot 50% from 3, 60% overall. You get 15 points and 10 rebounds for Nick Richards. Now, I've seen people on Twitter and, like, the Phoenix Suns fandom kind of question him a little bit, but, like, he plays pretty decent. You get 25 points out of Bradley Beal. You get 29 points out of Devin Booker, who shot 50%. So again, not only are these guys scoring a lot, they are doing it at an efficient level. So that's very respectable, very commendable. You look at the Bulls, you get 16 points, 11 rebounds for Nikola Vucevic, who shot 40% from 3. 20 points for Kobe White, who shot 50%. Josh Giddey, man, I mean, we could talk about him in that Caruso trade with the Thunder, but dude, the Bulls by far won that trade. Now, obviously, they're 13 games under 500, and it's going to take a whole month of basketball for them to make that up, even if they were the greatest. But, you know, the Bulls won that trade, and people were doubting that at first. That's a good pickup for the Bulls. That's one of the bigger acquisitions they've had since, you know, first getting a guy like Levine, which obviously none of that stuff led to winning basketball, which really sucks. I hate to see that because I like guys like DeMar DeRozan, I like guys like Zach LaVine, and for that to not work out, that kind of sucked. But yeah, man, 24 points, 10 assists for Josh Giddey, shot 60% from 3. It's just Lonzo Ball not being an offensive component. Again, he's a great defensive player. He grinds his ass off on that end of the ball. I would just wish he was a little bit more of a factor on the offensive end. I mean, you have Zach Collins, you have Trey Jones, you have Kevin Herter, who you just brought in, you have Dalen Terry, you have Julian Phillips, you have all these solid offensive players off the bench. I don't know. They give Lonzo a lot of minutes just to not do that much, in my opinion. So there you have it. We're going to move on because I talked about that game for way too long. Let's talk Nets and Sixers. Nick Claxton scores a winner at the horn to send the Nets past the Sixers by 2. Obviously, solid scoring for him. Tipped it in as the time expired. And, you know, Cam Johnson's going to be kind of the number one scoring option for this team. He came out and did what he was supposed to do. It's kind of crazy that the Nets are only like a half game behind the Bulls. Did not expect that one. Putback bucket wins it at the buzzer, which is great. They barely edge him out. You know, guys like Zaire Williams, they're kind of using their young talent, hitting some tough shots out there, which is awesome. Joel Embiid tried to block a shot and went flying to the crowd. That was crazy. Really fun game, though. Obviously, Kelly Oubre Jr. is going to make it tough on you. He played pretty good, I think. He was throwing it down. That was fun to watch, but still. Nets win the day, and really all they needed was that 23-point performance for Cam Johnson, and if I'm being honest, he didn't even shoot that good of splits. And this really attests to how garbage the Sixers are. Like, honestly, I don't think the Sixers played that bad this game. Now, obviously, Paul George and Joel Embiid could play better, but I think as a cohesive unit, especially in the starting lineup, they didn't play that bad. I mean, 31 points for Tyrese Maxey. That's all they had, obviously, but I don't know. I mean, Lonnie Walker, they need to kind of give him more minutes. I think Lonnie Walker is definitely a guy you bring into a franchise and give him more minutes. I mean, why not? So I don't really have much to say about that game. I'm just going to move on. We're going to talk about the Rockets and the Jazz. These are kind of some poverty games. Obviously, the Lakers and the Nuggets game was fun to watch for a while, and it's really cool to see the Lakers kind of figure that out with Luka. We're not going to talk about that in this video, though. I don't think it's really necessary. So, Keontae George scores 30 points to help the Jazz rally past the Rockets by 9. It seems like... What am I trying to say here? It seems like teams that should be tanking aren't tanking right now, which is kind of crazy. The Jazz are one of the worst teams in the entire NBA. You could say the same about the Nets. I mean, obviously they're not even close to as bad as the Jazz, honestly, but yeah, solid scoring for both Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen getting it done on the boards as well. So really good stuff. You know, Keontae George not just scoring, he's also setting up young teammates like Kyle Filipowski. Alperen Sengun dunked on Walker Kessler. I love watching Alperen Sengun play. He's one of my favorite players in the league. He's awesome. You know, he was hitting tough shots this game. This was a fun game. You know, obviously Amin Thompson's always going to use his athleticism and get to the rack. But you kind of look at things. You had a 22-point game out of Amin Thompson, who shot 67% from three, 60% overall. You get 27 points, 12 rebounds for Alperen Sengun, who shot 33% from the three-point line. You get 25 points, 10 assists for Jalen Green, who shot 50% from the three-point line. Jabari Smith Jr., man, he has struggled this season for this team, and it has not been fun to watch. I mean, obviously you have Jeff Green, you have Jock Landale, Aaron Holiday, Reed Shepard, decent bench. I mean, this team has a solid bench. I'm not going to sit there and say that they have a fantastic one even, but Jabari Smith Jr., you got to pick up the slack. When the rest of your team, when you have Amin Thompson, Alperen Sengun, Jalen Green kind of establishing a really good big three, and Dylan Brooks honestly wasn't playing that bad, got to step up the tempo. That's really all there is to say about that. You know, you look at the Jazz, you get 23 points, 10 rebounds for Lauri Markkanen off of 30% three-point shooting. You get 11 points, 17 rebounds for Walker Kessler, who made all of his shots. You get 12 points, 10 assists for Isaiah Collier, who shot 33% from three. And you get 30 points for Keontae George off the bench. So actually a really good game. A lot of guys kind of filling in roles, playing like good pieces for this team. Obviously tomorrow is going to be fantastic because this, as a Celtics fan, pretty long-awaited game against the Knicks there. You get the Mavs and Warriors. ABC has some really good fucking games. Now tomorrow they're having an ESPN doubleheader. Really good games on tomorrow. Like Adam Silver's cooking here. Clippers are playing the Pacers. I mean, yeah, Clippers play the Pacers. Grizzlies play the Cavs. Thunder play the Timberwolves. Like, holy shit, I am very excited for tomorrow. But